Welcome back. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa has delivered his first State of the Nation address under the GNU government and has outlined his plan of sending special envoys to various countries to showcase South Africa's vision for the G20, to promote South Africa's interests and address potential misunderstandings about the country's policies and values. Joining me to provide further insight is Sunday Times political reporter Kgothatso Madisa. Kgothatso, thanks so much for your time today. Now, you were in Cape Town for the president's address. From my side, here in Joburg, it seemed like the reaction was mixed. Was that the case on the ground?
Hi, Ntoleng, and thank you for having me. Of course, it's expected that the reaction will not all be positive. It was quite mixed. Just that it was a bit different this time because you have the DA, which used to be the official opposition, now part of, like I said, forming a central part of government. So the parties that were sort of negative were not as loud as they had been previously, but it was definitely mixed reactions from several parties.
And I guess that brings me to my next question around whether the president managed to please all GNU parties. We did hear comments from the leader of the DA, John Steenhuisen, and he seemed quite pleased with this year's SONA. But was that the same kind of response from all the other parties?
So, him being a negotiator, what he did before he delivered his SONA, so after he put together the speech, he went and called or convened all the leaders of the 9 parties that are part of GNU to sort of sell them on his State of the Nation address. And by the time they left that meeting, they had all agreed. Mm-hmm. So that just shows the type of a negotiator that he is. So he convinced them that this is the best they could come up with, and they were all happy. I mean, the fact, for instance, the big one is turning South Africa into a construction site.
Yeah.
Putting together almost 948 billion towards infrastructure in the country. Obviously, that would make the DA happy because their minister is Minister of Public Works, so he will be in charge of that. So it's those type of things that the DA or parties in the GNU would definitely be happy.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, you can continue.
Yeah, the other thing, for instance, outside of the DA, parties that would generally be happy with this are PAC among others, with the 100 billion transformation fund, for instance, that will go towards small medium businesses that are owned by Black people or women and people with disabilities over the next 5 years. So parties that consider themselves pro-Black would definitely welcome those types of interventions. So I think in general he tried to balance it out, even though as is usual with the State of the Nation address, instead of one being able to say we've managed to achieve this last year, I said this and we managed to achieve it, they always presidents always come up with new plans all the time, and it was no different this time around.
Kgothatso, one thing that was unexpected in this year's SONA was the tit-for-tat that took place before the SONA between the US as well as South Africa after President Donald Trump threatened to pull out funding following our expropriation laws, or citing theft on the back of our expropriation laws. President Ramaphosa didn't directly respond to Trump in his address, but he did mention that we would not be bullied. Do you think that was a strong enough response?
Oh, definitely. That was a very, very strong message that he sent. Obviously, couldn't mention them one by one. diplomatic channels and diplomatic ways don't necessarily allow for that. And with him being someone who always wants to do things by the book, that was the people who the message was intended for definitely received it. For him to say we will not be bullied, for him to say, we are, as a country, we're navigating this world where people are looking for, to self-enrich themselves. Among other things that he mentioned, shows that he was talking to specific people, and the likes of Elon Musk and the U.S. President Donald Trump definitely received that message. It was very strong from a president. You see, if it was someone else on the streets who didn't run a country or something as important, yes, maybe the message would have been a bit diluted. But the way he sent it as a president of a country, he couldn't dive into the mud and wrestle with everyone. He had to sort of be diplomatic but still send a strong message. So definitely it was a strong one.
It'll be interesting to see how all the other countries receive our delegation that Ramaphosa will be sending throughout the year. Unfortunately, Kgothatso, we have to leave it there. That was Sunday Times political reporter Kgothatso Madisa.